There was I don't know, I'm not a developer, but some type of official firm that does sprinklers to say what our sprinkler system can handle.
Right.
So if this, depending on what happens with the meeting tonight, I will start looking into that this week.
Right.
Right, so to your point, Mr. Chairman, about the hay bales, that is a concern of the fire department. They would like, a design professional, someone to assess the sprinkler system to see, can any hay be stored in the building, and if so, how much could be stored in there, and what could the sprinkler system protect, or are there additions, like additional sprinkler heads, or whatever that's needed.
There's a table in the packet that seems to dictate, based on the size of the system,
Correct,
a corresponding amount of hay could be safely stored, right?
Right, and we got that from the State Fire Marshal's office.
Okay.
So it seems like it's a fairly cut and dry thing to assess, but they do need that from a design professional.
Got it. So just so that I'm clear, so if we take action tonight, obviously on the decision that's in the packet, as a follow-up, you would get a design professional to assess the size of the sprinkler system. That would be sort of cross-referenced against the list, and then that would arrive at the amount. And you're okay, based upon that, limiting the hay storage in the facility to what can be reasonably protected by the fire safety?
Yeah, I mean, we're not looking, normally we have 2 to 4 bales of hay.
Okay.
Every now and then we get some donations, so like, sometimes once a year we may creep up to 8 to 10.
Yeah.
But even if that's a problem, I'll just store those extra bales at my house.
Yep.
People have bales of hay in their house all the time, so I don't know what I don't know what the line is between general use versus storage, because clearly people have hay around all the time, and I don't,
Yep.
But I think we should be able to work it out.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the limits are.
Yeah, and that'll all be dictated in the fire code. And then in regards to parking, I did take a look at that. So the veterinary use has the same usage as the current use, professional office, 1 space per 200 square feet.
Yep.
And then the boarding use is whatever is set by the board in your determination.
Got it.
So the parking would seem to be basically equal with what the prior use is.
Yep.
So doesn't necessarily seem to be triggering any kind of zoning issue from that perspective.
Great. That's good feedback. And I think we'd gotten into some dialogue last time you were in regarding you might have to, just to make use of the spaces that you have available, you might need to stagger the drop-off times by 5 or 10 minutes so that you don't have everybody showing up at, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Generally you have like a 1.5 to 2 hour drop-off window that people drop off in, and the times are staggered in. And oftentimes too, because we're hoping to work with other rescues too and provide a service for other rescues, and it's like, so when I go now, I'll bring 4 bunnies. So like, you have multiple pets with 1 drop-off, so that limits the number of drop-offs too. But it kind of depends upon what we get for clientele. And we have to see, but yeah, you have a staggered window, and even if we get a lot of them heavy, like 7 to 8 in the morning, that's before a lot of people arrive for the businesses too.
Right. Okay.
So.
Makes sense. Great. If you have nothing else to add, let's go to the board. Darren, any thoughts?
Yeah, last time, I forget what we talked about in terms of the number of procedures you expect to do per day. So in the draft decision, I think it references 50, but then in the 1 or the 2-page sort of write-up you gave, you said more like 30. So I'm just curious to see what you think it would be.
We want to start out with 1 vet, okay? And 1 vet would generally be 20 to 25 in a day. If things go well, and this probably wouldn't be in the first couple of years, but down the line, we may look into increasing to 2 vets in the future. So we're kind of buffering for growth.
Okay.
But it's not definite we'd go up that far. We have to see how we do and what our needs are and the clientele, and figure it out, but I'm trying to buffer for growth because I don't want us locked in at a low number.
That makes sense. I think it'd be nice too to get a year or 2 under your belt to see how that traffic's working out and everything else, and if there's capacity, then that's great. So, okay. Yeah, that was the only question I had. And then in terms of this, the hay storage, kind of logistically, how does that get written up, or how do we know it meets code, Joe? So say we approve, is that something that is that going to be a condition that has to be sort of signed off by the building inspector or something?
Correct, yeah. So through the certificate of occupancy process, that can be something that's reviewed and approved prior to any issuance. of occupancy, in case there has to be any adjustments to the sprinkler system.
Great. Cool. I'm good.
Okay, Mike.
I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the draft as well.
Oh, great. Kate?
No questions. I think all the questions were answered. I only had a typo thing on the conditions of approval. So on number 2, for site-specific conditions, the middle line, it says, has to go to the fire department for review and approval prior to storing hay on the interior, and it should be in the interior, I assume, of the building.
Okay.
And that was it.
Great. Thanks, Kate. Bob, any comments on PB 2203?
Yeah, I think the only thing I had was a follow-up to the applicant. I had asked last meeting, or suggested maybe the possibility of asking from the landlord to have some dedicated spots, and we just wanted to follow up, see if anything had been discussed regarding that with the landlord.
I mentioned it to the landlord. The landlord sent the request to the condo board, and she has yet to hear, she hadn't heard back from the condo board as of a few days ago, but she's now out of town in Toronto. So I don't know like when the next condo board meeting is, but maybe they'll take it up at the next condo board meeting. So I did give it to the landlord, and the landlord did forward it on to the condo board.
Okay. Thank you. That's all.
Okay. And I'm all set as well. So, given where we are.
Audience?
Oh, yes, we should go to the audience. Is there anybody here who'd like to comment on PB 2203?
Did we close the public?
Oh, yeah, we closed.
We closed the public
Did we
hearing.
close the public hearing last time?
Pretty sure we did. But maybe we didn't.
I don't remember.
No, I think we closed something else, maybe.
Maybe. I thought the decision said it was closed, but either way.
Okay. All right. Is there anybody for comment? Nobody in the audience to comment anyway. So, so given where we are, so is there a motion? Just to be on the safe side,
I
is there a
don't think we
motion
did.
to close the public hearing for PB 2203?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to close the public hearing for PB 2203. All those in favor say aye. Bob?
Aye.
Kate?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Darren?
Aye.
And I say aye. Is there a motion to approve PB 2203 site plan review for 2 Park Drive Unit 1 with conditions as stated this evening and through the course of the conversation on this public hearing item?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, Darren?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Kate?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
And I say aye. There you go.
Awesome, thank you so
very
much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck. All done?
Yep. Well done.
You're all done?
You're all done.
Yeah, to call for sprinklers.
So it'll get logged in with the town clerk within the next, by the 10th.
Days and then 14 days from the 10th, then 20-day appeal process or something.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, we have 14 days to file it with the town clerk's office. There weren't really, there's only
And I
one
have to-
adjustment to the letter, and I just made it now, so we can file
Okay.
it tomorrow, and then it'll be there's a 20-day appeal
And then I
period.
have to pick up the stuff and file it with the registry of deeds or something. A lot to learn.
Yeah.
You're doing well.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And good luck.
Thank you.
All right, that was the final public hearing item for this evening. We're on to general business. The first general business item is PB 2204, preliminary subdivision plan at 8 Flag Road. The applicant has requested to continue this matter with no discussion until April 4th of 2022. Is there a motion to continue PB 2204 to the April 4th meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, Bob?
Aye.
Kate?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Darren?
Aye.
And I say aye. All right, our next general business topic is PB 2209, a change in use from a motor vehicle repair establishment, Philbrook Motorsports, to a retail sales to the general public sweepin' man with related light manufacturing at Kryptonite Steel. Is the applicant for PB 2209 with us this evening? Great. Please come on up. Please state your name, just for the record, or names, sorry.
Mr. Chairman, through you members of the board, Attorney Robert Peterson Jr., the attorney for the applicant, David Bancroft.
Great, welcome.
Good evening.
Welcome.
All right.
So this is just a request that we approve that it's administrative.
Correct.
That's what we're voting
Correct.
on, yep.
Right.
I just want to make it clear.
Right, so before we go to you, Joe, anything from town staff?
You might have noticed in the packet, there is a little bit of a history with the project. It did receive site plan review, special permit approval with this board, as well as special permit and a use variance from the zoning board in the past.
Yep.
The proposed use is a use that's allowed by right in the district.
Yep.
So that's why the building commissioner thought it could be an administrative approval.
Got it. Okay, with that, we'll turn it over to you. Give us a little background.
Just a little background on the site. Again, so this is 497 Groton Road. The business currently operated out of there is Philbrooks Motorsports. They sell such things as ATVs, snowmobiles, and associated trailers and things like that. My client, Mr. Bancroft, owns and operates, you'll notice on the both the administrative application and with the associated materials, Working Man LLC. That's just an LLC's formed to purchase the property, which we're under contract to buy. He owns Sweepin' Man, which is a chimney care and venting company, and he owns Kryptonite Steel, which is a company's Sweepin' Man, and what that does is it custom fabricates custom chimney caps for the Sweepin' Man operation.
Okay.
So Sweepin' Man is currently headquartered in North Reading, Massachusetts, and has an associated location at Wilmington, Massachusetts. And Kryptonite Steel is currently located and headquartered in Wilmington, Massachusetts. So this site here in Westford at 497 Groton Road, if approved, is going to be what Mr. Bancroft has planned for us is a retail site. Basically what it would be is he's going to have a showroom in the front of the building. The showroom is going to showcase such things as hearths, wood-burning stoves, chimney restoration care facilities. It's Mr. Bancroft's goal, or it's his business plan as detailed in our narrative, for this to be the first of hopefully many of these types of locations he's opening up to expand his business footprint and also to expand, his the correct word is escaping me here. His
Present?
presence. Thank you very much. He's not going to charge anything. His presence throughout the area.
Great.
So again, what he would do, and it was in the narrative as well as the opinion letter, because we sat down, we had a great conversation with Mr. Fontaine and Mr. Morissette. It would be the showroom in the front, the Kryptonite Steel in the middle, that's going to be for the fabrication, and then the associated warehouse in the back where we'll store the things such as the wood-burning stoves and all the materials for that. I went through the planning board approvals from years ago, as well as the ZBA approvals. So currently, the site, there seem to have been some issues on site relative to storage. In the remarks that we received from staff, it was one of them, the staff report. There was a previous outdoor limit on storage and display of merchandise. We don't plan on doing any outdoor storage, or there will be no merchandise to be displayed between the business front and Groton Road, so that won't be an issue. Okay. I also addressed, when I met with Mr. Fontaine and Mr. Morissette, the issue relative to parking. And we believe we can use the site as currently constituted, but if they ever did want it to the conform parking as the planning board did it previously approved in their site plan, that Mr. Bancroft would be willing to make that work. It was 22 spaces, where currently there's 14. However, the associated vehicle storage with the technician vans will have on site, and with their personal vehicles, as well as the personal vehicles of Kryptonite Steel, and that one sales representative, I believe, can adequately fit within the site as currently constituted.
Great. All right. Excellent. Good stuff. So let's go to the board, see if anybody on the board has comments. Bob, would you like to go first?
No, I'm fine. I have no comments.
Oh, okay. Great. Kate?
I think it's pretty straightforward. Darren and I were on the board back when we did the approval in 16, so we're very familiar with it. This seems a lot more straightforward. I have no problem with the request for administrative review. Thank you for your detailed letter. It actually answered all of my questions. So my only thing is when you do it for the parking, to make sure that there's enough parking in the front for the customers, since there will be a showroom. And based on my own experience, you say you're not going to be open weekends, but I'm sure if you want to get the customers, you will soon find you're going to be open on the weekends. So, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike?
No, I'm fine with it.
Yep.
No, I like it. I think it's actually a
Much better?
improved
I think
use,
so,
well, from a couple of reasons. One is, I think, a lower impact environmentally, too. So I like the use, and it's, I think I'm fine with it for administrative approval.
Great. Yeah, I am as well. I'm fine with administrative approval for this, so no issues on my end either. So, great. So you need a vote to confirm this?
I move that we send this to staff for 497 Groton Road for a change of use, that it be sent to staff for a administrative review. Is that okay?
Yes?
Yep, second.
We have a motion and a second for administrative review and approval of PB 2209. All those in favor say aye. Darren?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Kate?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
And I say aye.
Great.
Thanks very much and good luck.
Very good, thank you.
Have a nice
Listen, tell your father I said hello.
You know, so my father said he's recognized your name when I was at the office today when you got on my shoulder. He's semi-retired now.
Good
but
for him.
If I catch him in the office, I'll let him know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When are you anticipating opening?
June. Yeah, that's what it's looking like right now.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. All right. We're moving right along. We're on to our third general business item, which is a request from the Electric Vehicle EV Charging Station Working Group to amend their purpose as established by the Planning Board. Good evening.
Yes, good evening, Mr.
Sure, I think you
Chair.
can sit down if you'd
Board.
like.
I'm John Chu, Chair of the EV.
Sit down.
Do you wanna sit?
Make it, do you want to sit
wanna
down
sit?
and be comfortable?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
Just sit all day.
Fair enough.
Okay, I hope you can take a look at the
Yep.
letter that I sent to the board.
Yep. Can you scroll down a little bit? Great.
So this is a simple request or a simple change. After a few meetings with the working group there, we wanted to complement the clean energy and sustainability's roadmap to net zero 2050. They have a number of sections related to charging stations. So the working group didn't want to duplicate their efforts, or we didn't want to have an overlap.
Makes sense.
So I reformatted the original purpose of the group there. So you can see I put down the original purpose of the group and then just added what the working group wanted to do, just sort of be more specific, even though the original goals were pretty flexible. So we're just going to concentrate on these items in line with the original goal of from the planning board.
Yep. Great. So let's go to the board for comment. I don't know, Darren, would you like to go first?
No, I read through it. It looks great. I think, you guys probably had a couple meetings, so you had a pretty broad sort of mandate.
Yeah.
And then we're able to sort of, I think that make that a little more focused. So I think it's great.
Thank you.
I agree.
Yep. Kate?
No, I agree. I like especially number 3, that the areas that you're going to be working on and how they relate to the planning board, so that's good. I just wasn't sure on number 4. It said the working group will be consistent in identifying criteria for both existing and new development. I wasn't sure what that meant.
Oh, okay. We want to apply the standards, such as parking standards, equally to either commercial operations, retail operations versus multifamily condominiums, say, so that we're consistent. So one group cannot say that we're treating the parking spaces differently for a commercial retail operation as opposed to a multifamily condominium.
Okay, thank you. So, and providing best practices resources.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that means you're going to look into how to get grants and
Yeah,
things like
yeah.
that?
We're going to try to provide a little checklist, maybe a checklist in that, to help out. Just as the EDC has a sort of a guide to doing business in Westford, we'd like to do the same thing. We'll try to do the same thing for EV charging stations. So that if a business or an individual wants to find out how to put in a charging station, they can just go to our guide.
Great.
And so,
Click on that.
so you've coordinated this with the net zero group so that they know they don't have to work on these things?
We're going to collaborate with them.
Collaborate.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not a question, I would talk to the clean energy group there. Nobody's really territorial here, so we're all going to cooperate and try to get the job done.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Okay. Nope, that was it. Thank you for the explanation.
Bob, any comment?
No, sitting on the group, I'm listening to the discussions, and I think a lot of this is just kind of like a natural progression as the group has worked together and explored what they're doing. So I'm very comfortable with this request.
Great. Yeah, and I am as well. As in my note back to you, I feel like the same as what Mike and Darren commented on. I feel like this is great. You guys are starting to hone in and really focus on the areas that you're going to dive deep on, and I think that's exactly what this group was hoping for, was to get your expertise and your insights to really kind of fine tune a very broad direction that I think we gave you at first with a lot of very wide berth. So appreciate your comments back and the work that you guys have already done. So I have no issues here.
Thank you, thank you.
So I would just make a motion that we approve the requested changes to the charter for the EV charging station working group.
Right.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor to amend the EV working group's charter, say aye.
Yeah, using the language.
Using the language provided
Provided,
by
yes.
Mr. Chu tonight. All those in favor say aye. Bob?
Aye.
Kate?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Darren?
Aye.
And I say aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'd like to thank both Sarah and Bob there for their technical help there. We're just getting familiar with the wording of the various bylaws here, so.
Gotcha.
So the first thing we're going to attack is the parking. We'll try to take a look at the parking, look at the various bylaws that we have. Sierra's helping us quite a bit on that. And we'll dive into seeing what we need to do for parking standards to encourage EVs.
Awesome.
Great.
We probably have 10 locations here and more locations to come, so we want to get going here and make sure that everybody's building these things consistently.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
That's great.
Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
you.
Have a good evening.
You too, thanks.
Okay.
Have to get an EV.
That brings us to our fourth general business item tonight, which is a request by the Economic Development Committee to seek Planning Board and Select Board support to amend the zoning bylaw to create a tiered site plan review system, administrative, minor, and major, as previously identified by the Planning Board as a top planning priority. Joe?
Yeah, so I believe for a number of years, it's been a priority of the board to look at the site plan review section within the bylaw and amend it to kind of what's been the practice of the board in terms of having an administrative process for site plan review and perhaps looking at what could be a minor and major. We have started to look at other communities, both surrounding towns, those involved with NEMCOG, those involved with Middlesex 3, see what other communities may have as a process. There are a few that could be looked at as examples, and we can continue to look at that and provide some information to the board at a future meeting. As noted in the agenda item, the Economic Development Committee is looking for ways to help streamline permitting. Select Board is also a participant on that and interested in this as well. So there could be an opportunity for a joint meeting sometime in the near future, next few weeks. So we can continue to look at that and provide information to the board. Another item that's just been something that I have experience with in Lowell, and I've noticed already in some of the research in other communities as well. They have a provision in there to help streamline permitting that if there is a particular use that triggers site plan review, that also may need a special permit, for instance, that it just, the planning board becomes the special permit granting authority as opposed to, say, the zoning board. So it kind of streamlines the permitting for, it's only one board that you have to go to versus multiple public hearing boards. So that could be an option as an example of streamlined permitting. So that's it for now.
Great.
More to come, and
I was gonna say, is there action we need to take tonight? to
not tonight. We don't need to take any action, but didn't know if there are any general comments that the board just wanted us to look into, or to make, or whatever.
No, I think it's good so that the poor people don't have to come here for us to say, yeah, go to staff.
And I think it's good that someone else is gonna help get this going too. It takes a
Yeah.
little bit less off our plate, since we're doing the other stuff as well, so I'm all for it.
So would this only affect the subdivision rules and regs, or would it also affect the bylaws, do you think?
So the subdivision rules and regs are a little bit separate versus this being in the zoning bylaw.
It would be, okay.
I know that the subdivision has been, a bit of a priority as well. So hopefully we can continue to move that along as well as get this going as it was at one point, and then it kind of faltered a little bit, and now we can get it going again, as you mentioned.
Great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, common sense that makes it simpler for simple requests from an applicant to get, heard by a board with the authority to take action and not send them to 3 or 4 doors would be great, so. Bob, any comment on this?
No, I do not.
No, okay. Great, so I guess we'll stay tuned, we'll look for future updates.
Yeah.
And the potential for that joint meeting.
Yeah, it could be a joint meeting with the select board, like I said, even maybe as early as a couple weeks from now, but it could be a little bit later than that.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. All right, excellent. Okay, so that concludes the general business items for this evening. Next on the list is meeting minutes, but we have none.
Yeah, we got them after the packet went out,
Yeah.
and so staff will have it ready for review for the next meeting.
Yep, great.
I did
Oh.
just want to, for reports on the Pedestrian Safety Committee, that in addition to what I mentioned in the open forum at our meeting on the February 17th, engineering and their consultants brought forth a draft where I don't know if it's like 50% design for sidewalks on Plain Road going from Nutting Road down to
Grassy Pond?
Grassy Pond.
Yep.
Yeah, it's about a half-mile section.
Yep.
It was nice. There were some abutters there, and they had some really good comments, and I know engineering and the consultants are also working with them too. So it's exciting that it looks as though it's going to be going forward.
Oh, great.
So they're thinking it might cost like $700K to construct.
That's great, that's gonna be a huge connected piece, right? All the way from there, I think, to make peace. So it goes all,
Eventually.
because Oak Hill's gonna have it,
Yep.
yep, and then across, up through Greystone.
Yeah.
And then phase 2, once this is done and Poor Engineering has some time, then they'll work from Grassy Pond down to East Boston campus, or the railroad track.
Yeah, that'd be a really,
Yeah,
that's a big connection. Yeah, that's fantastic.
so there will be more coming.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Excellent.
Just a NIMCOG update, so we went over the kind of Mass DOT and federal highway funds and projects coming up for the next few years, so just an FYI, I think the bridge on Stony Brook Road and the bridge on Beaverbrook Road are both slated to be replaced in the next few years, so.
I think they started on Beaverbrook, didn't they?
Beaverbrook, there's,
They did the culvert.
they
Oh, they
started
did.
that.
Okay, they didn't do the bridge.
Yeah.
That's been delayed a little bit, but yeah, those two are on the docket. And we're, broadly, there's actually movement now on the new sort of bridge as well for, what's the bridge over the Merrimack now? I can't.
Oh, Rourke Bridge.
Rourke Bridge,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
there's
the
actually-
temporary bridge from 88.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the temporary bridge has been there for 50 years. That's actually moving forward now, so it's still a number of years off before, potentially done, but there's actually movement now, so that's good.
If only permanent bridges weathered as well as that temporary one,
Really?
we'd be all set.
So what do they talk, did they go into anything what they were doing at Stony Brook? I'm assuming that's historical, right? It's a historical road.
There wasn't detailed to that level.
Yeah.
It's just, I know it's on the docket. And there's a residence right there that they're trying to be careful with, and
Yeah.
so that's,
I mean, I like it the way it is, but I don't like change to begin with.
I don't know if it's because it's one lane or if it's structural. They don't get into that level of detail, but
Yeah.
I think the one on Beaverbrook is more the culvert and the work underneath.
Yeah.
Just be on the lookout.
Excellent.
Great.
Cool.
All right.
Any other correspondence or updates? Okay.
Any word on my favorite topic of the subdivision rules and regs?
Not for me, anyway.
That just like when somebody might have the red lines done?
Yeah, I know Sierra and Jeff have both been working on the red lines.
Okay.
So
As long as
hopefully
there's
it'll be
progress.
forthcoming.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent.
That's it.
All right.
Move that we adjourn?
Second?
Motion and a second. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye. Darren?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Kate?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
And I say aye. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
So I was trying to get us to 7:40 with